Hi everyone, Ladislas Maurice from thewanderinginvestor.com. So today I'm in Mostar in Bosnia and we're going to be talking about Europe's least known tax haven. But before this, you need to check this out. Okay, my friend, so you're going to jump?
Jump is going in a couple of minutes.
How many meters are you jumping?
25.
25. 25. And the gentleman is going to jump. All right, he's going to jump. Gosh. So after these emotions, I really deserved a cold beer. But let's talk taxes. What makes Bosnia unique from a tax point of view? So what's so special about Bosnia? The personal income tax rate is a flat 10%, so which is amongst the lowest in Europe. It's aligned with North Macedonia, with Bulgaria, and slightly higher than Montenegro, which is at 9%. But what's really unique about Bosnia is that there are no capital gains taxes whatsoever, which is really a completely unique proposition in the Balkan area and in most of Europe actually. So low income tax, personal income tax, and zero capital gains taxes. From a corporate income tax point of view, you're also liable to pay only 10%, which is quite low. But the reality is you're not going to be running a business, an offshore business from Bosnia. It's quite administrative. The banking quality is quite poor. If you want to do things remotely, it doesn't quite work. So this is not the sort of place where you come, you set up a business structure and you travel around the world hoping that your business will be managed remotely. It's just not going to work very well. But what's interesting about Bosnia is having it as a tax base. So if you live here over half of the year, you become a tax resident. And again, no capital gains taxes. Because if you take a step back and if you're of the view that inflation is not going to be transitory, that it's going to be something that will be with us in the medium run, potentially even the long run, then capital gains taxes essentially become a net wealth tax. So think about that. So you want to base yourself in countries with either very low capital gains taxes or even better, none. And this is what Bosnia has to offer. Now, objectively, is it nicer to live here than in Montenegro? Montenegro has more to offer, honestly, but it's a nice place. It's extremely affordable. There are very few foreigners that actually live here. So if you move here, you'll be quite unique, if I can put it this way. There's also a bit of a segment for people who like tradition. So let's say you want to raise a family in a very conservative environment. Bosnia offers this. And because of Bosnia's history, essentially the country is divided between Catholics, so Croat Catholics, Serbian Orthodox, and Muslim Bosniaks. So whether you're Catholic, Orthodox, or Muslim, you can find your own community, because at the end of the day, when you move to Bosnia, you need to make a conscious decision. Will you live in the Catholic neighborhood? Will you live in the Serbian part of the country? Will you live amongst Muslims? It's a conscious decision that you have to make. You need to essentially kind of pick sides. So you pick your side and then you just embrace it, and you find yourself in an environment where you pay very little in taxes whatsoever, where government doesn't function that well, so they leave you alone, which can be refreshing for a lot of Westerners, and where you're surrounded by people of the same political and religious convictions that all have guns. So it's a bit niche, but it has a place. So how do you get residency in Bosnia? There are two ways. One, you can buy property in Bosnia. It's quite affordable. So for example, here in the Mostar area, you can find the average price per square meter is approximately 600 to 700 euros. You can even find homes in little villages a 10-minute drive away from here for 300-400 euros a square meter. Obviously, you need to do renovations, but it's objectively very cheap. In the better parts of the center, so here in the historical center here, we're looking more at the Muslim area. The Catholic area is more on the other side. You're looking at €1,000 a square meter for really the best that the city has to offer. So very affordable. Do I think it's a good investment? Not really. There's not that much upside. There's not a lot of liquidity. So again, it's not a destination where you come and you invest hoping to make a lot of money. It's not going to happen. Really, Bosnia is a lifestyle and tax play. Like, very interesting from a tax point of view. And when you live here, just people leave you alone. So in terms of purchasing property, it's based on reciprocity. So not everyone is allowed to own real estate in Bosnia. There's a list of approximately 70 countries, I think, that are allowed to buy real estate, essentially if Bosnians are allowed to buy real estate in that other country. Most Westerners, you're fine. You can invest here in Bosnia and obtain residency this way. The second way is, like in most countries in the Balkans, is to create a local company and appoint yourself the director and then apply for a work permit. And through the work permit, you obtain residency for yourself and your family. So this is the second way if you don't want to buy a house here, if you prefer to rent, which objectively renting is probably a better deal because the yields are very low. And then you can still use that company if you want to, conduct some business, some consulting, etc. But I would suggest that you have another company offshore with better banking and better facilities than here. Don't come to Bosnia expecting to find a job. Unemployment is high, salaries are extremely low. So you come here, you work online, you make your money from abroad. Either you're a freelancer and work online, or you're an investor and have investments everywhere, great tax base. But you can use here to recruit talent. There's a lot of talent, especially in IT. You can get a good IT specialist, a software developer for approximately €1,000 a month, which is quite attractive. And it's also an option for retired people that don't have a lot of money from Western Europe. They can move here, and with €1,000 a month, they'll live very well. There's also a program for citizenship. It's not really an official program. It's more citizenship by exception. So you need to formulate a business plan. You need good lawyers for this. Generally, you're expected to invest approximately €200,000 into the local economy and create a number of jobs. You prepare the whole business plan with local lawyers who submit your application to a council of ministers who then accept or decline your application. Only once it's accepted do you actually make the investment. So worst case scenario, they say no and you lost a bit of money in terms of legal fees. But it's an interesting option for people who genuinely want to start a business in Bosnia. They can obtain citizenship this way. Cheers.